Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of the Hermitcraft server. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a fantastic day. I want to do some more work today in the temporary Nether hub that we kind of dug out last episode. I did some work between episodes and finished kind of digging it out and flattening that area so we could work in it. However, we have a little bit of an issue, and that is I am basically out of stone. That's all the stone that I have, and that's not going to be nearly enough for what I want to do today. So I need to dig out some stone, and I figured if we got to dig out a bunch of stone, why don't we be productive with our stone digging and do a bit more work kind of digging stuff out here in the industrial district. So I think what I want to do is take this hill right here and bring it down quite a ways. I'm basically going to take it down to probably about here, like in probably about the same height as the top of this wall is kind of what I'm leaning towards. I think that would be good, and that should give us at least a couple shulker boxes full of stone, because this is almost all stone here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And since we're going to be digging and doing all this kind of crazy stuff, why don't we do it as a time lapse? Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. Look at this whole thing. We basically leveled that whole mountain. I just got back from Iskall and Cub's Guardian farm to repair all of my tools and stuff. And Iskall renovated the whole thing and like gave it a facelift to make it look better. And it looks absolutely awesome. You guys need to see it. I think his video where he's finishing that up is out today. So make sure you check that out because it's really cool. It's really, really good. But as a result of our little mining time lapse there, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 shulker boxes of stone. So I should be good on stone for a while. I think I'm just going to put this one in here. And then we'll take these 4 with us into the Nether. I'm also starting to run a little bit low on shulker boxes, so we may want to get some more in the future here. But let's go ahead and head into... Oh, actually, there's one other thing as well. Between episodes, I smelted up a whole bunch of that netherrack. And I believe, here we go. Let's just grab this. We've got a lot of nether brick, and we're going to use this in the design today, I think. So let me get all of this converted into actual brick, and then I will be with you in just a sec. All right, guys, we are here in the Nether, and you can kind of see what I've done between episodes. So, as I said, I took a lot of all of this, like, all this, I basically dug this whole thing out and replaced the whole ground and made it all flat. So that's good. What I need to do is I want to slab basically this whole thing. I'm going to cover it basically all in stone brick slabs. Remember that the purpose of this whole like temporary nether hub that I'm going to be putting together here is not really to look amazing. It's more for functionality and just for safety. And ultimately, it will probably get either completely torn down or eventually ignored once we get a proper nether hub built, which will be probably something that everyone works on, or at least a little bit, and you know that it is going to look much cooler and much nicer than the little kind of temporary hub that we're going to be dealing with here. So I'm going to make a ton of stone slabs, and we'll just start slabbing this whole thing. Now, I'm not going to slab the whole thing on camera, obviously, but I want to kind of get started with a couple of things, and I want to talk about a couple of minor things as well. So last episode, some of you may have noticed it was uploaded, and then it was taken down and re-uploaded. And that was because YouTube did not finish processing the video properly. So there were no HD options available. And that happens sometimes. But there were a lot of comments on that video beforehand, before I re-upload it, that were like, hey, it's in 360p. Why didn't you edit it properly? And stuff like that. And just so you guys are aware, because I mean, obviously there's going to be some people who already know this, especially people who are YouTubers. But for those of you who don't know, I always upload my videos in either 1080p, 60 frames per second, or sometimes on very rare occasions, I'll actually upload in 4K, which is what I'm doing for like my Monster Hunter World series on my second channel. But YouTube does not always process those higher quality options. Sometimes you upload the video and it always processes the lower options first, like 360p, 480p, etc., etc. Sometimes it just does, something doesn't work out. Sometimes something goes wrong with YouTube and it just never processes the higher quality options. And then what happens is you end up with a video that is like 360p. The other thing too is that when I do upload a video, I upload it like hours in advance of when it is coming out. When you guys can actually watch it. I upload all my videos before I go to bed at night, and then they come out usually like 5 or 6 hours later. And it usually takes about 20 minutes from the time the video is finished being uploaded for all the HD options to properly process. So basically, if the video is still in 360p by the time that that you guys can actually see it, YouTube has messed up. YouTube has gone, something has gone horribly wrong, And as soon as I wake up and see the comments that say, hey, why is it only in 360p? I immediately take it down and re-upload it. And then that'll, then I got to wait a little bit for the options to process, and then it'll be available in HD. So if you ever see a video from me that's in 360p, don't panic. It will be re-uploaded later with higher quality. Just sometimes YouTube messes things up. So that's one thing that I want to mention. The other thing I want to mention as well is that some of you may have noticed we're back to our different music. I thought that I had all the issues that I was dealing with a couple episodes ago resolved, and apparently that is not the case. So, yeah, just be aware of that. But anyway, I have a lot of slabs to put down here. We're going to slab this whole thing, and then we'll add we're going to do some roads and design the different stuff and, try to at least make it look somewhat presentable. But as I said, first things first, got to put down all these slabs. All right, guys, I am back. I have finished slabbing that large nether section. But before I forget, I just want to make one little comment on this little nano farm that was designed by Ilmango that we built last episode. This thing, apparently it doesn't work in 1.13, but it will work in 1.13.1. Ilmango himself told me that. So I think we're just going to leave it. We're just going to leave it alone. 1.13.1 will be coming along at some point in the relatively near future. I think they just released the first pre-release for it today, as of the time of this recording. So we're just going to leave it up there. We'll check it out after the new version comes out, and, maybe it'll just magically work then. But anyway, let's pop back into the Nether, and we can start doing a little bit of work there. So here's what we got. We have this whole area all slabbed, and then I've taken stairs and kind of laid out essentially where some pathways are going to go. I'm also going to have to not necessarily move these portals, but kind of modify some of them. I think most of the portals are going to be 3x3 instead of 3x2. Let's grab, where's my nether brick? There we go. Let's just grab some of that, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's just make a bunch of nether brick stairs. And what I want to do with these is essentially do our roads out of nether brick slabs. So the area will still be spawn proof, but we'll get a little bit of color variation. So the roads will stand out a bit more, and we'll also get a tiny amount of depth here because of the way that these stairs are. So it'll we'll have like a little lip, if you will. And then for all the different portals that are kind of spread around, what we'll have to do is kind of make the pathways sort of raise up to meet them at various locations. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to start working on getting the roads and all that kind of stuff filled in. It's going to take me a little bit of time. So let me start doing some work here. Let me get this all done. We also got to figure out what we're going to do for lighting in this area. I haven't really thought about that. I definitely want to have lighting because the Nether is fairly dark otherwise. But we'll think of something. I'm going to get some work done here, guys. I'll be back with you in just a little bit. All right, guys, I am back. I've got all the nether brick pathways put in place, all the kind of lips and stuff like that. I've got basically everything that's within this outer kind of wall that I've marked out. It's all done. All of the different pathways and stuff like that. We've got this nether brick, which kind of stands out very nicely, I think. I like the way that it looks quite a lot. Kind of works its way down here. And then down here, we ran into a couple of, I don't want to say challenges, but I don't really have a better word for it. So we'll say ran into a couple of puzzles to solve. Let's put it that way. Because basically these portals are all up in the air. So what I did is I took the stairs up like this, made like a little 3x3. This portal's going to go here. This portal's going to go here. This one kind of comes over around this way. There's a portal here. This leads up to another something over there. And then this one kind of goes off this way towards Mumbo's portal. But that's outside of this outer wall that I've kind of marked. So that's kind of what's going on. I think my next step is I need to remake basically all of the portals. I'm going to turn all of these into a 3x3 interior. So I'm probably going to have to go gather a little bit of obsidian and then remake all of those. And I want to do like a pretty standard portal design. So I think what I'm going to do is do like the 3x3, like I was saying, right? So technically the portal itself is going to end up being, what would that be? 5x5 on all the different walls. And then I'll just cap it off on top with stone slabs like that to keep it from being spawnable. So that's essentially the plan. The corners are not necessary, so I suppose we could remove all of those and do it this way instead. But the big thing is it needs to be 3 wide, because otherwise, how good are we? Oh, nailed it. Because otherwise, it's going to look really strange having these 3 wide pathways going into 2 wide portals. It just doesn't look good at all. So that's my next step. I'm off to gather some obsidian and start working on that. All right, guys, I am back. I've got all the portals all sorted out. So they're all 3x3 now, every single one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There were 7 of them to do. So there are now almost no spawnable areas in this whole area. These little signposts, which I'm not touching yet. I might mess with these later. But these for the moment are technically spawnable, but none of the portals are spawnable. This is all slabs, so this isn't spawnable. There's a couple of pigmen that are just kind of leftovers. But yeah, everything is good. So now I want to build up this wall at least a little ways. I have 4 shulker boxes full of stone. I don't know if that will be enough to build this thing up super high because it's a really large perimeter. So I guess we'll find out. But I'm going to work on it and see just how far I can get. As I said, I have 4 full shulker boxes of stone. So I'm going to get to it and we'll see how far this amount of stone takes me. All right, guys, I am back. I didn't actually go through as much stone as I thought I was going to. I still have one full shulker box. Oh, okay, so maybe I went through a little bit more than I thought I did. But either way, we didn't go through all of our stone. And I built this wall up pretty high. I don't even know how high it is. I think we're at like, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 blocks tall if you include the very, very bottom base block that I laid out before I filled everything in with slabs and blah, 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 blah. So I think it would be good to put a ceiling on this, but that's going to require probably about as much stone as the walls did, just because it would have to be completely filled in. And that would probably be done with slabs. But honestly, I think it's probably okay. I want to make sure that hermits can fly out of here fairly easily if they want. So they can, shoot off and go find some quartz or whatever. And honestly, I think I'm good with this. Like I'm happy with the state of our temporary Nether hub right now. I mean, just to make absolutely abundantly clear for people, this is not the permanent Nether hub. This isn't even the beginnings of the permanent Nether hub. This is just like a temporary, safe Nether hub to tide us over until we figure out as a group what we want to do for our main proper Nether hub plan. I think I may have said early on in the season that I had some ideas for that, and I do. But that's the Nether hub, since it's really kind of a community thing. It's not really something where you just like start doing it without talking to everybody else first and everyone kind of agreeing on an idea. You know what I mean? The Nether hub is the sort of thing where we talk about it pretty extensively and we kind of decide like what we want to do. And, then a group of people or everyone, or maybe just 2 or 3 people, however we decide to do it, they get it done, but only after it's been discussed pretty extensively with the whole group to make sure that we all like the idea and think it'll be, worthy of Hermitcraft, for lack of a better way to say it. So, this'll do in the meantime. This way, at least, the Nether is not a death trap the moment you walk through a portal. It looks better than it did, but the goal of this was never to make something that looks amazing. It was just to make something that's fairly functional and doesn't look completely terrible. I mean, it's not great. It's basically slabs and a couple of nether brick things, but it looks better than it did, and I'm happy with that for now. Unfortunately, though, this is also one of those episodes where there was a lot of time spent placing blocks that was done during cuts and stuff, so I know it's a shorter episode, but I am very much out of time for this one, guys. I gotta call this one here. My friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.